let's bring in our third party today. Please help me welcome Walter home. He's a legislative liaison here on the state team, and we are happy to have you join us today, Walter. And we are going to talk about this thing called taxes. I want to share something with you. On my wish list, I have always said, gee, I wish when I pay my taxes that I could fill out a little form that says, well, here, I would like my tax dollars to go here or there. If only that were true, because it's not. Let's face it. April 15th, tax deadline. You've either got your taxes done, or you're intending to get them done, or you're going to file an extension, but you can't get away from taxes. None of us can. I want to talk about where the money goes, and we're going to try to put up the debt clock. Let's see how this goes. Marilyn, want to give this a shot? There it is. You can go to usdebtclock.com, I believe, or .org. There's an app. You can put this on your phone. You see that amount. We hear it every day. We are $36 trillion in debt. I noticed that this will turn over to $37 trillion on or about July 28th. Why is that? Marilyn, you can take that off the screen now. So in putting this whole thing together and wanting to have my wish that I could determine where my money gets spent, I had to do a little research, and this was informative. I probably learned about this in 8th grade, but that was too long ago to remember. And it turns out that the spending is pretty set. We have mandatory spending, and you can see that's a pretty large area encompassed in the blue. And then we have discretionary spending, decent amount. And then there's that little green section on the interest. So what does this really mean? This is, if we take that yellow discretionary, this is where the money gets divided up. It's appropriated. And as I look through these categories, speaking entirely for me, I looked at every one of those categories and went, well, I don't really disagree with any of those. We need to spend money in those areas. So I felt a little deflated that I wasn't going to get my wish to elect for my money to go to somewhere else in the government. So you can see if this big part on the military, education, health, housing and community, I mean, these to me are areas that most of us don't want to dispute. I do want to bring this up. This is before we launch into our discussion, because this is another area where our money gets spent. And because of the new work of the DOGE committee, we're seeing some of the waste and abuse of the federal government. So here's a report from a few days ago. $4 million of our tax dollars was spent on a museum to tell a selective story of the EPA history, and it cost $600,000 a year to operate, although 1,909 visitors came through in the last 9 months. So that's about it's $314 per person. Apparently they felt it wasn't worth it, so they're closing that down. I want you to absorb this for a minute. The U.S. debt is growing at the rate of $74,401 per second. I look at that and I know people who don't make $74,000 a year. In fact, the U.S. average median income is just over $78,000. So it takes some people a year to earn this money, but we're burning through it in a matter of a second. This, to me, is scary and unsustainable. Sarah, I know you have thoughts about the debt. And I'll bet you Walter does too. Both of you have children who are growing up and they are inheriting this mess. Sarah.
I just pulled out my calculator. That means that since we started this live stream, we have gone $62 million more in debt. That is insane. Like, what's going on in our country? This is when I think about taxes, you think you're paying money into the government so that they can use it for the things that the government needs to do to keep us safe, to make sure that our country functions well, all of these things. You're not thinking that they're going to be spending so much above and beyond that $62 million beyond our taxes that we're about to settle up with have already been spent since we've been doing it. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. We have to fix this problem. Convention of States is the way.
Walter, what about you? What are your thoughts on this interest of the debt?
Well, obviously, everybody gets out of control. You can see the rates on the clock alone. You can just kind of watch it, and it's beyond mind-boggling. But in terms of the spending, hey, listen, we had that pie chart up there. When we run out of money and then there's no one else to fund it, things will all immediately become unnecessary. And whether it's necessary or not, it will become very unnecessary. And that's not the kind of pain we want to experience. And the only way to really kind of reel this in, make sure we do balanced budgets and keep Congress under control, because they're spending. They don't care where the limits are. Keep pushing the limits up. They don't really hit a ceiling, and our credit and everything suffer for it.
Mm-hmm.